I-V-M.
I want to thank Intel for supporting our show. Do you remember last year when we spoke about how the Intel vPro platform is built for business? Well, I'm glad to say we've kicked it up a notch. That's right, Intel is back with a new and improved version of the platform. The new Intel vPro platform lets you do more of what you want and less of what you don't. So it's better for you and for your IT teams, who really are the backbone of keeping your work-from-home experience easy and enjoyable. I can safely say that the new vPro platform gives you more enterprise efficiency with less constraints. Visit intel.in/morewithvpro, that's VPRO, to discover how you can get more done with less waiting. If you're listening on the IVM Podcast Android app, click the link that's visible to you now.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy, actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today's fun fact of the day has to do with Benjamin Franklin. Did you know Benjamin Franklin invented a musical instrument called the glass harmonica? It had 37 orbs inside, and when played, gives you that sound of a wet finger being rubbed on the rim of a glass. And if you've never heard such a sound, I suggest you Google it. It has this mysterious quality to it. The instrument became so popular that in the 1800s, Mozart, Beethoven, all of them composed music for this instrument. But before that, let's understand Benjamin Franklin better. He had about 2 years worth of education. At the age of 16, he secretly started writing stories and became a hit writer. He then ran away from home penniless. And over 20 years, he owned a print shop, became a land speculator, published a book, and was so wealthy he could retire by the age of 42. He invented a new set of alphabets for English, making it easier to speak, getting rid of those annoying silent letters like K in knock or knee. He experimented with electricity and invented the lightning rod. He experimented with light and invented the bifocal lens, which our parents still use today. What is interesting is that he never patented his inventions, believing that human growth should not be restricted. Oh, and I almost forgot, he was one of the founding fathers of the United States of America. Notice a trend? There is something extremely special in the way he lived his life. He tried many new things. He was getting good at many different aspects of life. And this is a beautiful trait, especially in times of change and turmoil. The decision to make this podcast came from two influences. I was just reading a book called How to Be Everything by Emily Wapnick. In this book, she talks about how, as a society, we are all taught to be specialists and specialize in one particular thing. The more we specialize into something, the better we become and the more society appreciates us. Take the 10,000 hour rule that became so popular by Malcolm Gladwell. He spoke about becoming world class. And we've been told that this super specialization is the way to go. However, in a time like what we're living in today, filled with uncertainty, where the future is changing all the time, specialists suffer the most. There are 3 reasons for this. 1, they do not have the ability to change course easily. 2, they're not used to starting from zero and failing, and starting from zero and failing. 3, their exposure to new things is limited to their field of expertise, and hence they can't step out of it. The second influence for making this podcast came from India banning TikTok. This one app had kids who were earning money and supporting the families just from TikTok. Overnight, their income disappeared because the app was banned. And the same thing happened to thousands of businesses and jobs the world over because of Corona. It happened to my business too. One day everything is fine, and the next day, poof, gone. As your habit coach, I do not ever want to see you become this vulnerable. I want to see you resilient and nimble, able to start over and change direction quickly. This is the power of what Emily calls multipotentialite. A person who's good at a number of things instead of being world class at just one thing. As a multipotentialite, you learn the ability to reinvent yourself. You learn how to be different in different things. Each of those things could eventually become streams of income. And that is where the magic starts taking place. This takes time. It starts by allowing yourself to become a newbie or a novice. You have to allow yourself to fail and become comfortable with failing. Then, create a deep sense of curiosity. Learn new things all the time, as you do listening to this podcast. Feel free to explore new things. Drop things that do not pique your interest. You might be doing this already, like I am. And this is great. Just keep doing it. Don't get discouraged. If you're not doing this, then I suggest you try this approach. Pick up a new hobby. Pick up a new skill. You have no idea where your next passion might come from. You have no idea where your next business idea might come from. Become an explorer, because one thing we know for sure is that during uncertainties, we cannot cling to all that is familiar. We have to search out for new. Become an inventor by mixing and matching your different interests and hobbies. This podcast and my habit coaching business were born out of doing exactly that. History is filled with great multipotentialites that did something amazing. So start these habits and share with us your progress using the hashtag #TheHabitCoach. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome 180.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money and Intel. Really fun week, and I think that you guys should definitely check out some of the stuff we did. So we had Shifa Mehta, who is the host of the show Smile India, on the Paperback podcast. Really fun thing. On Edges and Sledges, our hosts had an episode just amongst themselves. No guests this time. Really fun show with lots of cool banter. I think you'll enjoy that quite a bit. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vineet had Shrishti Bell on. Shrishti is the head of Netflix in India, and I think you'll really enjoy that conversation as well. Also, do check out Uncle Please Sit. Joel and Tushar had Anuya Chatakar on. Anuya hosts the popular YouTube channel Books on Toast. And don't forget others of your old favorites like The Habit Coach, Football Should Ball, All Things Policy. All of them are doing a great job during this pandemic, and you should definitely check them out. And with that, we hope to see you again next week.
Look! Up in the internet! It's a meme! No! It's a cat video! No! It's the Geek Fruit Podcast!
That's right, we interrupt this riveting broadcast to tell you about our show, The Geek Fruit Podcast, where Tejas, Dinkar and I, Jishnu, talk about everything in pop culture, including DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Netflix, and everything in between.
You know how your friends hate it when you ramble about some nerdy crap and you just want somebody to listen to you? Well, sorry, there's nothing we can do about that, but come listen to us ramble and it'll almost be like the real thing. Kind of.
Listen to new episodes of the Geek Fruit Podcast every Monday and the Geek Fruit Bulletin every Thursday on iTunes, Google Podcasts, the IVM app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy listening, you nerds.